Okay, guys, welcome back. This will be the last installment of a video class exclusively. Again, I thank you for your patience. I was out of town for, business, so I do appreciate your patience, and I'm sure that you guys have been doing very well because I believe in all of you, and I know that you can do this. Today we're going to wrap up 6-5, solving square roots and other radical equations. We're going to do part 2 today, and there's nothing new except that it's just a little bit more complicated. Now we're going to actually really have to watch out for extraneous solutions, and also, more importantly, we're going to have to remember how to square binomials. All right, let's do this. First things first, we want to get that square root alone. So I'm going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides, my friends. Just like always, I got the square root of x plus 7 equals x plus 5. I want to get rid of the square root by squaring both sides. So when I square a square root, I got x plus 7. Now here, guys, the temptation is to go x squared plus 25, but that is wrong. Please remember, this is a perfect square, so this is x plus 5 times x plus 5. This is when you really want to know the format. Remember that when you have a plus b times a plus b, it equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So I'm going to make my life easy here. I'm going to go x plus 7 equals x squared plus 10x plus 25. Set this bad boy equal to 0. So subtract an x, subtract a 7, and it's x minus 7. I'm going to have x squared plus 9x plus 18 equals 0. We know how to solve this. Let's go ahead and factor this. Let's do this over here. So this is going to be x plus 6 times x plus 3 equals 0. We hopefully remember the zero product property. Remember that if a times b equals 0, then a is set equal to 0. Let me write that correctly. A is set equal to 0, and or b is equal to 0. So you must set them equal to both and see which ones work. So x is going to equal -6 and or -3. Now we have to go back, unfortunately, and we have to test this. Okay, guys? We have to absolutely test this. Let's go ahead and do the -6. When I get the square root of -6 plus 7, that's square root of 1. 1 minus 5 is going to be 4, not -6. So this guy will not work. When it's -3, I got square root of 4, which is 2. 2 minus 5 is -3. So it works. So only x equals -3. -6 is extraneous. So same concepts here, just a little bit more math. Not a real big deal. Okay, next, let's go ahead and get that square root alone. So I'm going to subtract 3 to both sides. And I've got the square root of 5x minus 1 equals x minus 3. Square both sides to get rid of that radical. 5x minus 1 equals, remember, this is x minus 3 times x minus 3, so it's x squared minus 6x plus 9. If you want to do it the long way, you can. It's just going to take you a little bit longer, that's all. Subtract the 5x, add the 1. Subtract the 5x, add the 1. So I'm going to have x squared minus 11x plus 10 equals 0. Going to go ahead and factor that bad boy. X minus 10 times x minus 1 equals 0. Zero product property. X will equal positive 10 and 1. Remember, you set x minus 10 equal to 0 and x minus 1 equal to 0. And now, again, I have to plug this in. So, okay, when x is 10, 5 times 10 is 50. 50 minus 1 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10, so 10 works. When it's 1, 5 times 1 is 5, minus 1 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, not 1. So 1 is extraneous. So only 10 works here, gentlemen. Let's move on. Okay, I give it to you in rational exponent form. No big deal. Don't stress with this. You don't have to turn that back into a radical. Simply multiply by the reciprocal of that exponent, which is 2 over 1, which is 2. So these guys cancel out. So I've got 5 minus x equals, this is x plus 1, remember, times x plus 1. So if you have to FOIL it, that's fine. If not, it's the first term squared plus 2 times the first and second, 2 times the product of the first and second term plus the second term squared, or a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. Subtract the 5, add the x. Subtract the 5, add the x. So 0 equals x squared plus 3x minus 4. Go ahead and factor. This is going to be x plus 4 and x minus 1. So x, after you do the zero product property, you set x plus 4 equal to 0, x minus 1 equal to 0. So x will equal negative 4 or positive 1. Let's see which one of these work. Okay, I've got the square root of 5 minus x. That's got to equal x plus 1. So, okay, let's see. And I've got a negative 4 here. 5 minus a negative 4 is square root of 9, which is 3. And then negative 4 plus 3 is negative 3. So no, that doesn't work. Negative 4 does not work. How about 1? 5 minus 1 is square root of 4, which is 2. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So that works. So x equals 1 and only 1. Let's do another example. I want to make sure you guys got this. Let's go ahead and add x to both sides. So I've got 5x minus 4 to the 1/2 equals x. I'm going to get rid of that 1/2 rational exponent by multiplying, or raising rather, both sides to the reciprocal of that power. So I'm going to raise everything into 2 over 1 here. Raise it to 2. Those cancel. I've got 5x minus 4 equals x squared. Subtract the 5x, add the 4 to set it equal to 0. Subtract the 5x, add the 4. So 0 equals x squared minus 5x plus 4. Factor. X, negative 4, negative 1. So x will equal, after the zero product property, 4 and 1. We have got to test it though. I'm sorry. So we're looking at 4 and 1. So I've got the square root of 5x minus 4 minus x that has to equal 0. So the first one is 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 4 is 16. So square root of 16 is 4. Minus the 4 does equal 0. So 4 works. How about 1? 5 times 1 is 5. Minus 4 is 1. And square root of 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So yes, they both work. Awesome. So in this particular case, awesome, x equals 4 and 1, and they both work. Okay? All right. Let's make it a little bit tougher now, okay? A little bit tougher. Same procedure though. I'm going to add square root of x to both sides. So I got the square root of 2x plus 1 equals the square root of x plus 1. I'm going to square both sides again. Square root cancels out with the power of 2. Now look guys, this is square root of x plus 1 squared. Same rhythm. It's the first term squared, which is square root of x squared is x, plus 2 times the first and the second term, so that's going to be 2 times square root of x, plus the second term squared, 1. If you want to do it the long way, you can. Square root of x plus 1 times square root of x plus 1. Square root of x and square root of x is x. Plus square root of x plus square root of x plus 1. So x plus 2 square root of x plus 1 would be your answer. If you want to take your time doing that, that's fine. That is completely up to you. I don't mind. However, I find that is going to take you a lot longer. So just please be careful with that. Okay, now, let's see what I've got here now, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and let's solve for x. So let's first of all, we want to get rid of that square root. So let's get rid of this x and let's get rid of that 1. So I've got x plus 1 equals 2 times the square root of x. Let's get rid of that square root of x. So I'm going to square both sides. Wait, did I do something wrong here? Oh, yes, I did do something wrong here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Let's go ahead and pay attention here first to what I did wrong. This 2 here is erroneous. That is a 2x plus 1. This cancels this. Hello, sorry about that. So when I subtract my 2x and my 1, subtract my 2x and my 1, okay, this makes more sense now. 0 equals negative x plus 2 radical x minus 1. Let's add the x and add the 1. X plus 1 equals 2. No, jeez, what is going on with me today? Sorry about that, guys. Well, when I subtracted the 2x, I'm going to get negative x plus 2 radical x. These ones cancel. Sorry. I don't know what I was doing. So add x to both sides, 2 radical x. Let's go ahead and square both sides. So I'm going to get x squared equals 2x. Subtract 2x to both sides. X squared minus 2x equals 0. I can factor out an x, which I get x minus 2 left over. 0 product property. X equals 0 and 2. 0 and 2. 0 and 2. Actually, 0 and 4, because when you square this, oh my goodness, this problem has been horrible. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to redo this whole entire problem, because that just must have confused everybody. And I'm sorry. Let's just do this again, because I'm tired of erasing and doing it over. I'll just do it all over again. Okay, add the radical x to both sides. Radical 2x plus 1 equals 1 plus radical x. Let's go ahead and square both sides. So this is 2x plus 1 equals x plus 2 radical x plus 1. Subtract the 1 to both sides. Subtract this x to that side. I get x equals 2 radical x. Square both sides. X squared equals 4x. It's more like it. Subtract the 4x to both sides. X squared minus 4x equals 0. Factor out an x. X minus 4 equals 0. Set x equal to 0 and x minus 4 equal to 0. So x equals 0 and 4. 0 and 4. We got to test it. So if x is 0, 2 times 0 is 0. Square root of 1 is 1. 1 minus the square root of 0 is 1. So 0 works. 4. 8 plus 1 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus the square root of 4, which is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So they both work. 0 and 4 is your answer. Okay. Let's go ahead and do another one. Same difference. Go ahead. Get one of the square roots alone on one side. So I have the square root of 5x plus 4 equals the square root of x plus 4. Square both sides. Cancels out the square root. 5x plus 4 equals the first term squared is x plus 2 times the first and the second term. So that's 8 square root of x plus the second term squared, 16. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract my x here. So subtract my x. So I've got 4x plus 4 equals 8 times the square root of x plus 16. Let's go ahead and make my life easy. I'm going to factor out a 4 from this guy, making it 4x plus 1. I'm going to factor out an 8 from this guy, making this square root of x plus 2. I'm going to go ahead and then divide both sides by 8, giving me x plus 1 over 2. And then that equals square root of x plus 2. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 to both sides. Okay, so that's going to give me x plus 1 over 2 minus 2 equals the square root of x. Okay, this is going to be a fun one now, guys, because I got to get rid of that square root. Okay, I gotta get rid of that square root there. Well, I wonder if it would have been easier for me to have just multiplied everything. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to take you into this fraction world. Let's make life easier. Once we're at this stage right here, okay, let's go ahead and subtract the 16. But let's leave that 8x attached, because if not, as you saw, we're going to have nasty fractions, and that's just a mission. So let's go ahead now and square both sides. Square both sides. So I'm going to get 4x minus 12 squared. Remember, it's the first one squared. In this case, minus 2 times AB. So AB is 48x times 2. So that's 96x plus the last term squared, which is 144, equals 64x. Because 8 square root of x squared is 64x. Okay, so I've got 16x squared. I'm going to subtract 64x to both sides, giving me x, 0, 1. So that's 160 plus 144 equals 0. Okay? Give you guys a second to absorb that. Hopefully that's making a lot of sense to you right now. Okay, I'll give you a little pause. All right, guys, hopefully this is making sense. Let's go ahead and make our lives easy, and let's divide everything here by an 8, because we do have to factor this, guys. So let's divide everything by 8 here. So I'm going to get 2x squared minus 20x plus 18 Actually, I should have just divided everything by 16, guys. Let's do this by 16, actually. Just realize 16 goes into everything evenly. So I'm going to have x squared minus 10x plus 9 equals 0. So I've now got x minus 9, x minus 1 equals 0. So x equals 9 and positive 1 because of the zero product property. And then we got to plug it in. We always got to plug it in, see if it's extraneous. So 9 times 5 is 45. 45 plus 4 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7. Okay, so I got a 7. Minus the square root of 9, so minus 3, that's 4. So 9 works. When x is 1, 5 plus 4 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus 1 is, 3 minus 1 is 2. So 1 does not work. So my only answer is x equals 9. Okay, let's see what happens when I have two radicals. Okay, this one's real simple. In this particular case, just pay attention. Let's add 28 minus 2x to the 1/4 to both sides. 28 minus 2x to the 1/4 to both sides. So I'm going to have basically here x minus 2 to the 1/4 equals 28 minus 2x to the 1/4. Now, we can really complicate our lives and put it into radical form, or we can say, wait a second. I've got a denominator of the rational exponents of a 2 and a 4. What happens if I raise everything to the 4th power? Well, if you raise everything to the fourth power, you're now going to get x minus 2 squared, because 4 times 1/2 is 2. And then here you're going to get, my friends, 28 minus 2x. All because that goes away. You just saved yourself an infinite amount of time. So now, in this case, let's go ahead and solve for x. This is x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 28 minus 2x. Bring over the negative 2x and bring over the 28. So that's going to give you x squared. When I add 2x to both sides, plus, minus 2x, and I subtract 28 to both sides, minus 24 equals 0. X negative 6 positive 4 equals 0. 0 by property, x equals 6 and negative 4. Okay, let's see what works. I have the square root of x minus 2 minus the fourth root of 28 minus 2x, and that has to equal 0. Okay, when x is 6, 6 minus 2 is 4, so square root of 4 is 2. 28 minus 12 is 16. Square root of fourth root of 16 is 2, so 2 minus 2 is 0. Yes, 6 works. Negative 4. Okay, no, this is not going to work, because negative 4 minus 4 is negative 6. You can't have a negative inside of a square root, so 4 is extraneous. X equals 6. And last but not least, okay, this is it, guys. This is the last one, I promise. Go ahead, get one of the radicals alone. So I'm going to subtract radical x plus 2 to both sides. So I'm going to have square root of 3 minus x equals 3 minus square root of x plus 2. Now here, guys, just pay attention and focus. This is not that bad. Square both sides. This cancels this guy out, so 3 minus x. Okay, remember, this is 3 minus radical x plus 2 times 3 minus radical x plus 2. It's a perfect square. So it's the first term squared, which is 9, minus 2 times ab. So 2 times 3 times square root of x plus 2, plus the second term, which is x plus 2 squared, which comes out to be x plus 2. Let's do some simplifying. 3 minus x equals, you got a 2 and a 9, so that's 11, plus an x minus 6 radical x plus 2. Let's go ahead and subtract the 11 and subtract the 6 to both sides. So I'm going to have negative 8 minus 2x equals negative 6 radical x plus 2. Do not divide by that negative 6. Remember what happened last time? It gets really ugly. But instead, let's go ahead and square both sides. So when I square both sides, remember this is negative 8 minus 2x times negative 8 minus 2x. So first term squared, which is 64, minus the first times the second term times 2. So 16x times 2, that's 32x, plus the second term squared, which is 4x squared, equals 36 times x plus 2, because negative x squared is 36, and then the 2, when you raise a radical to a power of 2, it cancels the radical. So then I have 64 minus 32x plus 4x squared equals 36x plus 72. Solve for x. Let's go 4x squared. Let's go ahead and subtract this 36x to both sides, making it a negative 68x. And then let's go ahead and subtract that 72 to both sides, making that an 18. Yeah, I think it's 18. No, just 8. Hello, just 8. All right, make our lives easy. Let's divide here. I know I can do by 4. This is going to be x squared minus 17x minus 2 equals 0. And in this particular case, you guys do not have the skills to go any further than that. Okay? So you would leave this just like this. After this chapter, we're going to learn all about quadratics, how to graph them, where to find the solutions, quadratic formula, completing the square. And then at that point, I promise you, you will be able to find the solutions here. But for this step in the game, for right now, if you get to an unfactorable answer, something that you cannot factor, I promise you that will be the correct answer for us as of now. Thank you so very much, guys. You've been great. I know you've had a lot of patience and hard work. Thank you. God bless you, and have a great day. See you on Friday.